Happy Thursday, everyone. I hope you're doing well. Again, enjoying this beautiful spring weather. It's so great to be able to wear dresses again. I will be wearing them all spring and all summer. Very, very excited. Also, I planted my garden this past weekend, so that was wonderful. So I'm going to be having some nice vegetables, probably by the middle of the summer. That's how long it took last year, and I just love it. I love being able to take off my shoes and to be in the soil and yeah, that to have some good tomatoes and cucumbers and zucchini squash and yellow squash. And actually, I even planted corn this time. I'm not sure I had enough soil for it, but we will see. So it's all an experiment. And um, there's something so great when you know that you've planted something and you've helped it grow from the ground. I think that's pretty cool. I wanted to invite you. Tomorrow, we have our annual student competition. The students have been working hard this year on getting their songs ready, and it's going to be fierce competition. It's going to be at our theater at 9204 Falls of the Noose Road, Suite 110. And come watch and hear these students vie for the trophies, for the RSM trophies for 2025. So come hear them. It's at 7 p.m. tomorrow. We also have our regular convocation at 6 p.m. tomorrow, so you can come see a double bill of people performing. It's a great way to learn, and it's a great way to see other people perform and hear some good music. You are invited, and it is free for everyone. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about psychology and therapy, and I've been very interested in that this year. It's just where my interests have been, and I think there's such a correlation between music and therapy, and that at least with voice teaching, there's just a little bit of that going on in the voice studio anyway, because we are so attached to our voices. It's part of us. And so when we treat the voice, we are treating the singer and the whole person. And so it's just very, very closely tied. And so I myself have started a new therapy recently, and I wanted to give a little bit of a review of it. And yeah, good things thus far. Have you guys heard of EMDR therapy? It is fairly new, but it is eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, EMDR. And I've heard it spoken about like when we are in deep sleep and our eyes, they will move back and forth. It's how we process information and process things that have happened. So this is done how my therapist does it is through a machine type thing. It's holding these two um, handles in my hands, and I have to close my eyes, and it vibrates one hand at a time as I kind of go through trauma or previous things that I need to work through, and it's really, really cool. It says, I will read to you what it says to me on Google. What is EMDR therapy? Is a mental health treatment technique. This method involves moving your eyes a specific way while you process traumatic memories. EMDR's goal is to help you heal from trauma or other distressing life experiences. And I've had a few appointments now. They're in this therapy. It takes you a little bit of time to kind of get prepared and you learn some tools and stuff. And when you're visiting something, a traumatic memory or something that's happened, you have to have tools to be able to kind of let it go when the processing time is over. And so I had to go through those meetings first and learn that stuff. And then so this is the second appointment that I've had that has been just the EMDR itself, and it's wild. At first, I thought, because I had been reading up on it, that I would have my eyes open and that I would just be looking back and forth like this while I would talk about a memory. And luckily, that was not what I had to do. So just closing my eyes and then holding these things that vibrate back and forth, which was, I think, a lot less stressful. And so it was very easy for me to get to the the memories and to, um, to feel it, and to be, I was right away emotional. I really believe this would help everybody, but especially with performance anxiety, because gosh, I can't tell you, I cannot tell you when I was teaching how many students, I would hear the same thing over and over again, that students were, especially adults, because I had a lot of adult students for a long time, that they had someone tell them, either being a family member or a sibling, or somebody told them at one point that they had to stop singing. They could not sing. And it stopped. They always said it was a regret for them because then it stopped them from singing. They thought they shouldn't sing. And so that memory, that somatic memory of someone telling you to stop, it was in them and it would affect their voices. And I thought it made my job as a voice teacher harder, but it also made the singer, it made it harder to find their real voice. So, because I believe as a voice teacher, what we're doing is we are pulling away all of the stress and all the muscle and all the making things happen, like away, and like all the muscles that we get in the way of singing, of really just like being open and free. It's just kind of pulling that away. It's five levels of awareness. And so we get more and more aware of what our body is doing when we're doing it. And so it's letting go of that unnecessary stuff. And so I think that this would be, and maybe I should try it with her, because as singers, we've always had some kind of trauma, and all musicians, right? Because people always have an opinion about what you're playing or singing or whatever. I guess there's a beauty in that, but there's also, it doesn't help things sometimes, right? Like my old acting teacher said, we should not really take in any feedback, good or bad, because none of it helps. And it all can add to manipulation of our voice, of our muscles, all that, and we get out in our own way. So I wonder if it would be cool, either to sing while you're doing EMDR, or recalling a time where maybe there was something traumatic that happened when you were singing. But even if you are not a musician and you are just simply interested in different therapies, I think that this is amazing, because I think then once you can kind of work through the traumas, then I think that's kind of where the work begins, because then you're getting to build the self again apart, and not letting the traumas create your personality, create who you are, but like without all of that, with that stuff being processed, who would you be? How would you live in this world not looking at something and being triggered by it, and then acting out of that trigger instead of not being triggered, and just like going through the world, not reacting to everything that happened in the past. I think that is kind of cool. We've all had trauma. We have all had trauma. And I think a lot of therapy, I know I've been in and out of it for years, since I was in high school, and I intellectualized all of it. I have, I've always been interested in it. So I've done a lot of reading on it, and I I think it's easy to intellectualize it. I think it's easy to not feel the feelings when you can think about it. And I think it's definitely a coping mechanism. And so this is, I guess, part of somatic therapy, which is very interesting to me, to feel it in our bodies. I think I've talked about the workout witch, and that's the somatic therapy. So it's anything where we like feel it in our bodies, right? And I think that we don't do that a lot. We don't allow ourselves to do that. And I think it's really cool that this thing has come out. I've read up on it, and EMDR seems controversial, that there's not been like hard evidence or something that it works, or it's still maybe and I don't know, people are still trying it out. I personally now haven't done it. I feel lighter. Both times that I've done it now, I feel lighter after I've done it. And I feel like I am I don't know. Yeah, I just feel, all I can say is I feel lighter. There have been times they said that that stuff can kind of bleed over, and maybe I have felt some residual emotions and stuff after it, but it all feels right. It feels like this isn't necessary. And so it's a way to take care of yourself. It's a way not to externalize your feelings. And I think that as a society, externalize our feelings all the time. We blame everyone else for everything. And this is a way, at least for me, I can do my part in that. No, I'm going to give myself the responsibility of letting the things that have bothered me in the past, let them go. Um, it's a pretty powerful feeling. It feels like I'm a warrior. And I want that for all of you. And so if you need any recommendations, I would be glad to give you recommend for the local area because I know it's very hard to find, especially with EMDR, hard to find someone who has any availability. But if you need a recommendation, let me know. I'm a tough cookie. Like I think I'm a pretty I just don't think every therapist out there is good. I just don't. And so if you want a name of a very good therapist, let me know. I uh I think this is the kind of work that changes people, that changes societies, that changes the world. I think that we can't expect that everybody's going to change at the same time, but if you do it one person at a time, got if each person had took responsibility for themselves and believed in themselves that they could do it, you can. All right, on that note, I will see you next time. Please come on to the competition. It makes the competition more interesting for these students. See you later. Bye.